So how extensive is your game library? Adding all your games together, out of PC, console, everything.
You're familiar with a Foot Locker, aren't you?
Yes.
I have one of those full of cases.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's PlayStation 2 is part of them, and then it's Xbox 360 in front of that. And
right.
Yeah, I am a gamer.
Yep. Trying to think. PC, my Steam library recently in the past 2 years has grown immensely. But before I got into PC, like I said, I was a big console person. I'm trying to think. I have 360 games, I have PS2, I have PS3, and I got PC ones. I'm gonna go with a rough estimate, but there's probably about 400.
Dang.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Then my dad's got his own. He used to be a big gamer and stuff. We used to do a lot of MMO playing.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Find out what your perspective and stuff was on MMO playing. We used to do that a lot when we lived in Israel and in Oklahoma, and early when we came here. But we found that it was hard to deal with the people.
Yeah.
If it's free to play, people are buying their way, and then there's just you. They have the same stuff. They're the same level as you, but they buy their way through the whole game.
Like, hey, I'm a level 1, but I have the rod of instant win.
Right, and then you can't get that until you get, like, the piece of the dragon, then you get the wolf's whisker, and those things take, like, 10 years to get.
Right.
And then there's the people. There's just the constant, whining, or just all the stuff. So basically, MMOs was turned off for both of us, and we went to Steam where you could play with a few people or just by yourself. That's where we moved to. So what is your perspective on MMOs?
I played some World of Warcraft just because I was curious how it is.
Interesting.
I'm not the biggest community person, unfortunately. Right. So I'm not a big person on MMOs. But back whenever I was thinking about designing games, my grand concept, the one that I absolutely this is the game I'd want to make, happened to be an MMO.
Interesting. What was it?
That's a secret.
Oh, okay. Interesting. No. I blanked out there for a second. I thought that you were like talking about making a series on an MMO. Oh,
no,
you're talking about making a game. Sorry.
Yeah.
I flew over.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's interesting. My dad put like 10 years into the original EverQuest. He's been playing World of Warcraft since it's been around, or he had been until, he just maxed it out and then people just turned, into people.
Yeah.
And we played Defiance for a while, but nobody wanted to really talk. Do you know about Defiance?
I don't know much about it specifically. I know I just bought it for free. Somehow.
Nice.
And it should be here in the next couple days.
Very cool. It's a pretty fun game, and actually, maybe that's something if your Mac wants to work out that we could do. So
360.
Oh, 360. Okay. And the only thing about it is nobody talks.
Yeah.
So it's an MMO, but nobody talks, and it's like, well, I heard someone compare it to Borderlands, and they're like, why don't you go play Borderlands then so you don't have to talk to people, because it's an MMO. And it was really fun. You race around. It's basically a sci-fi thing. You get into vehicles, and you go do major, like, boss battles and stuff. And it was really fun to play.
Yeah.
And that's the most recent MMO that I've done.
I would hate for, like, the channel to pick up an MMO guy, because I think those have some of the more interesting... I like the randomly generated and the, things you can't expect.
Right.
Games.
Yeah, definitely. That was like, Dark Souls, you die. You're gonna die. I think I've died in every single episode I filmed.
Yeah.
But the other day, I was playing on my PC instead of my laptop. Someone invaded my world.
I saw that.
And that had never happened to me before. I had seen the ghosts of people walking around, but no one had ever invaded. And that actually really surprised me more than the bosses, because I see this guy and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And then he tries to kill me, so... But he didn't succeed. I only died when he was chasing me by falling down a cliff. So
Yeah.
it actually took quite a bit of damage on it, which was interesting. But that was entertaining, and not only did I try to go back to the same place once, but twice and saw the same guy, so he was camping there.
Wonderful.
Yep.
I just love campers.
But yeah, I love progressive games, I should say. You know, playing Left 4 Dead stuff's awesome, and doing all the stuff with multiplayer people, but I also love games that, you know, you don't know what's going to happen, you level up, you progress, and if it's MMOs, like you said, you grow stronger and stuff, so you see, you know, where you started, you have a stick and a loincloth, and then you end up being a freaking flying god or something, but that's how those go. But MMOs are just, I find it's really hard to get into, because not only does it take a lot of grinding and time for most MMOs, it's just the people. I mean, it's supposed to be a community to play with other people and stuff, and then you have the little kids on there.
The game sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you have the little kids, you have the people who are super high and they don't want to help anyone else. And by not high, I don't mean on drugs, I just mean levels.
They may be on drugs too, right?
Well, that's possible, but that whole thing, and then it's like, well, where do I go for help? You know, Google's my best friend, but
Google should not be your best friend on a game.
yeah, when you're in an MMO, so that's how that goes. I'm very skeptic about the Elder Scrolls Online because it's always been a single-player game, and I'm afraid that they might ruin it.
I'm very curious how they're going to take... You were the chosen one to... Hey, what's up, Ted?
Yeah. What's up, Mike? Oh, hey, Kevin. What are you guys all doing here? We're all chosen. 5 billion people. Just kidding. I don't think 5 billion people are going to play Skyrim. I mean, not Skyrim, but Elder Scrolls Online. But, that'll be interesting. It was the same thing when they made Neverwinter Nights in MMO too, and I downloaded it, but I haven't played it. I just wanted to check it out, see how it is. But those are all interesting ones in there. I mean, that would be like taking Assassin's Creed and making it in an MMO.
That'd be a lot of killing.
I would, and that'd be too much in my opinion. That'd be really, really bad. They have the single player campaign, which they pour basically all their time into, and now they're slowly right, and then they're slowly getting now into the multiplayer thing, since I think it was Assassin's Creed. I want to say the Brotherhood is when they introduced multiplayer.
I think this one is the third iteration of it, if I recall. So whatever that would be.
Yeah, so the multiplayer is really interesting, but still, it's not their main focus. Like taking, for example, you know, that's not the same genre, but Call of Duty. They pour most of their stuff into multiplayer because that's what Call of Duty has turned into.
Right.
And then the campaign's like the side thing. So I hope that Assassin's Creed never makes a MMO.
Be a lot of face stabbing.
Yeah, it would. I mean, you would stand on buildings. No one would walk the streets because you'd be getting air assassinated all the time.
Of course, then you'd get, you know, a lot of face stabbing on rooftops.
That's true.
I don't think a game could handle that. Not
that much?
Yeah, all that parkour with all those people. That's too much. Too much recognition.
That's also why I'm a little bit afraid about. Have you played any of the Splinter Cells?
Not very sneaky.
They're making that the Tom Clancy The Division one, and that's turning into that is an MMO. So I'm kind of skeptical about that as well. And that looks interesting. The whole, you know, post-apocalypse setting.
Yeah.
But those are all in there. But I don't know. I think I might do some series for MMOs, but I don't think I'll ever get back into them until Destiny. That might change my whole perspective on MMOs.
Well, if you're playing on the 360, then I know someone who will gladly party up with you.
Sweet. And also Titanfall, but that's not exactly an MMO.
No, that's an always online.
Right. And that looks really cool in my opinion. I tried to get in the beta, but it didn't happen. But, you know,
but I'm kind of concerned about the online only campaign.
Right. Yeah.
I played Brink.
You know, idea was really good, and the parkour in there was ahead of its time. But the only online thing that you are saying, I will not argue with you. That was Brink's Brink.
Which, coincidentally, the very broken Batman Arkham Origins multiplayer, same group that made Brink.
Ox. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So sometimes it just makes you miss Pac-Man. Simplest games. I think that's why indie games are making such a huge roundabout now, because back then, honestly, everyone wanted the AAA, like EA games and Ubisoft and stuff. Nobody wanted to really play pixel games and stuff. Then Minecraft came around, and I think Minecraft was really the doorway back into indie games.
I can see that.
And I love them, like The Binding of Isaac. That game
really cool.
Made me come close to going bald. Many sleepless nights until I beat that game, and I haven't touched it since. But I put 54 hours into that game.
Good lord.
And then there's, of course, Minecraft, which, you know, it's any time fun to get on because it never gets old. You can join servers, do mods, play the normal vanilla, just mess around.
It's
what
so
other
normal,
indie
I
games?
wouldn't even call it vanilla.
Definitely. And then there's Trine 1 and Trine 2. Those are indie games. Limbo, Slender the Arrival. And Rust, the one that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Those are all really good, in my opinion, indie games. And I've actually, before Minecraft, I hadn't played any indie game. So it was kind of interesting to get into the setting there, because, you know, my friends would always go, oh, you just want to play the AAA games. And I'm like, you want to look at my Steam list? I have more indie games in there than I do of AAA games.
Well, partly because they're cheaper, but yeah.
Right. And also the indie games are now finally coming onto both consoles. It's taken a while, but they're finally getting there. And there's that new thing coming out for PC and Xbox, and for the life of me, I can't think of the name, but it's a new thing where you can basically build your own games. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's they like give you the settings and the characters and graphics, but you can fix them, set up your own stories, and what is it called?
Is it a Microsoft exclusive?
It's only for Xbox and PC, so yes.
Then it would be Project Spark?
Yes. That actually sounds extremely interesting to me. And, you know, it's gotten a lot of hype and stuff, so I don't know, you know, if it's everything they're putting out to be, but it sounds like extremely unique.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so there's always those. And then there's the people that just hold out and hope that Halo will go to PlayStation, which is never going to happen.
No.
And
Halo's owned by Microsoft. Right.
And then that's like asking Sony to give Uncharted or The Last of Us to Xbox. It's not going to happen. They're exclusives and stuff.
That could happen.
You know, it could, but then that would be like
that'd be like Mario going to the PlayStation. Nintendo has to go under first.
Or Zelda going to either other console.
Yeah.
Yep. Which I wouldn't mind. I've never played a Zelda. I'd like to, but it's only on, you know, on the Nintendo and stuff.
Right. I hate to say it, but I am really bad at classical games. All of them. So Centipede, every Mario, I'm just really bad at.
What about original Doom?
No, not any good at that either.
Oh, our Wolfenstein. Oh, all those? Man.
Yeah, just bad at all of them.
Those were so good, though.
Well, I don't doubt they're good, but I'm not even good at Pac-Man.
Really?
Really? I barely make it to, like, the second level.
So, are you good at indie games, then? Or because they're kind of like older ones, not so much?
Some indie games I'm better at than others. And I like them. I'm just not always good at them.
Yeah. There's a lot of games that people have developed and made that really don't get the credit and stuff, and I think that's why the whole green light thing on Steam is really helpful.
Psychonauts.
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely.
That wasn't an indie game at all, but I deserved more.
Yeah. There goes. I'm pouring all my money everywhere because I already beat that level. What else was there? Oh, there's so many games out there and stuff. Like, Spec Ops really didn't get the coverage, and, you know, it didn't get talked about as much as it should have, in my opinion. The same with Mirror's Edge. Basically, it's what it's called a cult gathering. There's like a strong group, but they're not huge, that love the game series and everything about it, and that's basically, unfortunately, where most of those games stay. Dark Souls, Mirror's Edge, Spec Ops The Line. What are some other ones that really should have got more attention?
Trying to think of a really big one, but I can't think of what it would be.
What else is there?
Psychonauts for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the indie ones should have got more coverage or attention.
You know, talking about the Olympics, which are either going on or recently, I don't know what it'll be at this point, but there's a curling game on the Xbox 360 that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like $1. I really like that game. Me and Flo play it all the time. I need to do a video of that.
That's awesome.
I'm sure everyone would love to watch us curl.
I'd watch it. That'd be hilarious.
See, I'm talking to other people about sports, and they look at curling like, how does this, like, is this how it does, or is this how it does? They talk about different ways of it being scored. I'm like, it's scored like this. Exactly like this.
Nice.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not good at the sports games, and I also don't really like to watch them. I'm the type of person who'd rather be doing them, if at all. So, but I definitely respect the people that do them and stuff. I do like to watch racing, though, like real life. And a while back, I was big into track and stuff as well. But those are some things.
With our sports, they're not so much like us playing sports games as much as we're just kind of making the people, simulating and seeing what happens.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Which is really interesting, because I've said this to some people before. Some of these people that we've created are real to us.
Why not? Yeah.
I mean, we know who they are. We've seen them grow into superstars or absolute failures or something or another.
Why not? Yeah. And
sounds ridiculous.
Well, not to me, you know, because we're gamers and stuff. But yeah, if we sit someone down who's not into games or can't understand something like that, and they're like, "But it's just virtual," you're like, "Well, those 13 pairs of shoes that you just bought were a waste of money." So there you go.
Indeed.
Yep, everyone's got their own thing, and if it's not virtual, if it's not games, it's movies. If it's not movies, it's 13 pairs of shoes.
I have a story vaguely along that line, and I'd say probably shortly after that we'd wrap.
Okay.
But about the people who don't understand what's going on, my dad, who is way too old to be my dad, he is my dad, but he's way too old. It's like 80, and I'm 20.
Wow.
Reminder, yeah, he's way too old. He not a big fan of games. He's nice enough he'd buy me games whenever I wanted them, but he never got them, wouldn't watch me play them, none of that.
Right.
And then I got a GameCube, you know, and I got the game Animal Crossing.
Oh, Animal Crossing. Oh, yes.
Well, one day I said, "Here, come watch this game. Come watch me play it." And then he watched me play it, and he's like, "All right." And I said, "You want me to make you one?" "Yeah, sure, why not?" And so with him, or I'd play it with him every day for a couple weeks, and then I'd be like, "I'm trying to sleep." Like, he gets up way too early because he's old again. So he'd want to wake me up. I'm like, "Can I just sleep? Like, here's what you want to do. Here's how you do it." So I taught him how to play the game. Someone who doesn't like games, doesn't want anything to do with them, knows how to play this game.
Nice.
And you know how to have like a diary, calendar sort of thing?
Right.
We went, by the time he stopped, he had completed a 365-day, everyday cycle.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever played a game that for that long,
He
like
played
straight on.
Animal Crossing every day for a year.
Jeez.
He made so much money, he bought all the upgrades, filled up the bank, and had to start leaving money out on his lawn because he had too much.
That is awesome.
After that, he never got into any other games, but he had a slightly better respect for how cool games can be.
Very cool. Well, you see what the thing is going off of that basically, and I know that you said we were going to wrap up soon and everything, and I was thinking around the same lines, but I just had a few things to add to that. You know, people, when they say, you know, they can't understand like why someone can sit in front of a computer screen and play something that if you just turn off the power, it's gone. And what it is it's the emotion and passion and stuff that they get from something else that they enjoy that maybe is not virtual. So I guess that would be the best way of looking at it, because when you're online, it's almost like you're building a relationship with your character or the person or the game. It's like watching a movie in character development or even music. So, you know, that's what my opinion is on that. But also, my dad's old school too, so we were raised, I'm guessing, by the old school ways.
You have no idea.
Yeah. So, we have no idea really what we're going to call this series yet, but this is the first time I've done something like this, and I had a lot of fun just sitting here talking with you about everything.
I've enjoyed it. We'll have to do some off-camera talk about other business plans, and I can do this thing again sometime soon.
So I am going to wrap it up here. This was Phoenix, well, the leader of Phoenix TV. You know, he's got so many names to go by. I don't even know what I gotta address you as, but we're gonna go by that.
Phoenix.
So thank you for joining me on this.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for joining me on my 3-hour skate session.
My 3-hour killing spree. All right, ending here.